আমি সকলোৱে জানো যে হিন্ডেনবাৰ্গ আদানী গ্ৰুপৰ বিষয়ে প্ৰকাশ কৰা প্ৰতিবেদনৰ পিছত আদানী গ্ৰুপৰ ষ্টকৰ মূল্য অভাৱনীয়ভাৱে হ্ৰাস পাইছে। প্ৰতিবেদনটি ওলোৱাৰ আগতে গৌতম আদানী বিশ্বৰ ৩ নম্বৰ ধনী ব্যক্তি আছিল আৰু প্ৰতিবেদনটি ওলোৱাৰ পিছত এতিয়া তেওঁৰ স্থান হৈছে গৈ ২৪ নে ২৫ নম্বৰ। আদানী গ্ৰুপৰ ব্যৱসায়িক লেনদেনত থকা অনিয়ম আৰু জালিয়াতিৰ বিষয়ে হিন্ডেনবাৰ্গ প্ৰতিবেদন প্ৰকাশ পোৱাৰ আগতেও ভালেকেইজন সাংবাদিকে এই বিষয়ে লিখিছিল। তেনে এজন সাংবাদিক আছিল পৰঞ্জয় গুহাঠাকুৰতা। গুহাঠাকুৰতা এজন বিশিষ্ট সাংবাদিক আৰু গৱেষক। তেখেতে আদানী গ্ৰুপৰ ব্যৱসায়িক লেনদেনত থকা খেলিমেলিৰ বিষয়ে ২০১৬-১৭ চনৰ পৰাই ধাৰাবাহিকভাৱে লিখি আহিছে আৰু তাৰ কাৰণে তেখেতৰ ওপৰত আদানী গ্ৰুপে কেইবাটাও মানহানি গোচৰো তৰিছে। আদানীৰ বিষয়ে লিখা কাৰণেই তেওঁ সেই সময়ত সম্পাদনা কৰি থকা ইকনমিক এণ্ড পলিটিকেল উইকলিৰ সম্পাদকৰ পদৰ পৰা পদত্যাগ কৰিবলৈ বাধ্য হৈছিল। আমাৰ কাৰণে এইটো এটা অতি সৌভাগ্যৰ কথা যে পৰঞ্জয় গুহাঠাকুৰতাৰ দৰে বিশিষ্ট সাংবাদিক এজনে নৰ্থ ইষ্ট নাওৰ এটা সাক্ষাৎকাৰ দিবলৈ সন্মতি প্ৰকাশ কৰিছিল আৰু আজি মই তেখেতৰ লগত এই সাক্ষাৎকাৰটো লৈছোঁ। এইটো নৰ্থ ইষ্ট নাওৰ কাৰণে আৰু মোৰ কাৰণেও ব্যক্তিগতভাৱে এইটো এটা বৰ গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ মই কাম বুলি ভাবিছোঁ, অভিজ্ঞতা বুলি ভাবিছোঁ। আশা কৰিছোঁ আমাৰ দৰ্শকসকলে এই সাক্ষাৎকাৰটো চাই যথেষ্ট পৰিমাণে উপকৃত হ'ব। Hello, welcome to a special program of Cotton, and we have today with us Paranjay Guhathakurta, and we welcome you to this show. And he is actually, I shouldn't introduce him much because he's a very known face. He's a very eminent scholar. He's a researcher. He's an editor, journalist, and whatnot. Filmmaker also. So first,
I'm not a scholar. Paresh, I'm not a scholar. I'm a journalist for the last 45 years. I am 67 years old. I'm a journalist. I'm a publisher. I'm a teacher. I'm a documentary filmmaker.
Okay, great.
Let's move on.
Okay. Now, the first thing, actually, the interesting thing is that all over now people are speaking about Hindenburg Report. So, and Hindenburg Report, I think you are the one who was mentioned there number of times. And could you please tell us what are the main features of this Hindenburg Report? Because it's a very too long a report, and for the common, for a layman, it is a little difficult to get into all the details. So what are the basic submissions of the Hindenburg Report?
Well, Paresh, thank you so much for inviting me to speak on Northeast Now. It is difficult to summarize a report which goes into more than 32,000 words. And if you include the response of the Adani Group to the report, that is even longer than that. And if you print everything in the form of a book, it will be a thick book of 250 pages. So it is not easy to summarize. But essentially, Hindenburg Research prepared a report which is online, which was published on the 24th of January. That report contains a series of allegations about the working of the Adani Group companies. Now, these allegations have been denied by the Adani Group. Now, many of these allegations are a repetition of what has already appeared in several sections of the media in India, including articles that have been written by me from 2016 onwards. So more than 6 years, these articles have appeared. I have written a series of articles while I was editor of the Economic and Political Weekly from April 2016 to July 2017. Subsequently, articles have been published in The Wire, in Newsclick, in an Australian website called Adani Watch. And you are right, I am the only Indian journalist who has been named in that report. Though there have been other media organizations that have been named, like CNBC Television 18, CNBC Network 18, and also the Economic Times. What the report says, to summarize it, is that the Adani Group and hundreds of subsidiaries and associate companies, they violated the rules of the country. Rules that have been set up by the Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is the regulator of India's capital markets and financial markets. Rules that have been put in place by other government bodies, including the Reserve Bank of India. Now, it is up to these agencies to tell the people of India whether these allegations are correct or not, whether what Hindenburg Report is, the research report is saying, or what the Adani Group is saying. Now, this report came out, as I said, on the 24th of January. On the 25th, a follow-on public offer of Adani Enterprises was to open. Now, that was a 20,000 crore rupees follow-on public offer with shares. The report resulted in the shares of the Adani Group coming down dramatically, and they have continued to come down. Between the 24th of January and today, several companies in the Adani Group, their shares have come down by half or more than half. In the case of a particular company, it has come down by 3/4 or 75%. So there has been a bloodbath on the stock markets. So we have to wait and watch what the government authorities will do. I'm a journalist. I've highlighted examples which are also there in the Hindenburg Report. There have been allegations made by the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, which is the intelligence wing of the customs authorities in the Ministry of Finance. The DRI has alleged that there have been over-invoicing of coal, electrical power equipment that has been imported, and there are show cause notices have been served. If your readers or if your viewers are interested, they can visit my website, paranjoy.in. There is a microsite called the A Files, and you can read these show cause notices. These are very voluminous documents, legal language is used, but all these allegations are contained over there. They pertain to several companies in the Adani Group. The Adani Group companies have been accused of indulging in what is called round tripping, taking money from one jurisdiction to another jurisdiction. Several reports have appeared about Adani family members, including his older brother Vinod Adani. Now, there are various other kinds of allegations that have been leveled against them, including allegations pertaining to what are called related parties. A related party is somebody who is related to you. Now, according to the rules of the Securities and Exchange Board of India, if a particular organization, its shares are listed in the stock exchange, the public can buy it, then these transactions have to be disclosed. And what has been alleged that they did not disclose these transactions. The role of several what are called foreign portfolio investors have been questioned, not just by Hindenburg Report. Before that, as I told you, CNBC, Economic Times, Ravi Nair, an independent journalist, has written a series of articles in this Australian website called adaniwatch.org. Several other reports have come out in various media, including media which is very, very recently published. So all of these are saying that the Adani Group and the companies in the Adani Group have violated the rules of the country. So we have to wait and watch and see what's happening. This 20,000 crore rupee, this public share issue was fully subscribed. And then it was withdrawn late in the night on the day the budget was presented, on the 1st of February. Several allegations have been made, including allegations that have been made by Congress party spokespersons like Jairam Ramesh. He has alleged that a union minister, a minister in the union government, called up and spoke with various high net worth individuals and asked them to subscribe for that follow-on public offer. And every day, the Congress party is raising various questions. So this, in a summary, is what I have to say. There much more can be said. You see, I'm the only person, Paresh, in India, the only citizen of India against whom the Adani Group has instituted 6 defamation cases. And these are pending in different courts of law. In 2 of these cases, I'm the only person against whom allegations have been made, the complaint has been made. In the other cases, others are involved, including my co-author Abir Das Gupta, the portal that has published our articles, NewsClick, and so on and so forth.
Now, I want to actually bring in one thing here. Now, whatever actually was written by you, all the analysis and the irregularities which you actually focused in your EPW article and then subsequent articles in different actually where or NewsClick. Now, what you wrote there and what is there in the Hindenburg Report? So, what is the difference? Or
See, they have followed it up. They've taken the stories forward. Several references have been made to articles that have been written by me, with Abir Das Gupta, Ravi Nair, but they have gone further. They went to these tax havens, they investigated the roles of various companies, various subsidiaries. So, what independent journalists like Abir Das Gupta, Ravi Nair, what we and many others, Raj Shekhar, we wrote over a period of 6 years. They have put it together. They've connected the dots and they've taken it forward by going to these tax havens like Mauritius, like Cyprus, like the British Virgin Islands, and gone deeper into these allegations. And even after the Hindenburg Report was published, we are seeing other publications like Forbes and various other publications are now going further, deeper and deeper into the working of this amazing corporate conglomerate. You see, yes, Paresh.
Yeah, I want to ask you one thing. The first thing when you wrote about it, and some others also wrote about it. So there was this defamation case against him. Now
six cases.
Yes. Now that it has all come to the public domain. Now how are they reacting to it?
They haven't reacted. I requested Mr. Gautam Adani over a phone call, over WhatsApp call, please withdraw the cases. In the case of one article, because of which I had to resign my job as the editor of the Economic and Political Weekly, Adani Power, the lawyers representing Adani Power, have withdrawn the cases against the Wire, against my co-authors, everybody but me.
And they have not yet withdrawn.
No. Now, you want to hear the story? It will take me a few minutes to tell you the story. It's a long story.
But if in a nutshell, you can tell me a little bit.
All right, I'll tell you in a few minutes. In June of 2017, me and 3 others, we wrote an article with the headline about how the Modi government has given a 500 crore bonanza to the Adani Group. This article in June of 2017 was republished by The Wire. And you can see it in The Wire. You can read it. Okay, what happened was in July, a legal notice was served. I engaged the services of a lawyer, pro bono, free, to respond to that legal notice. After that, I was summoned to Delhi. I was in Mumbai those days by the Board of Trustees, the Samiksha Trust, the board of trustees of the Samiksha Trust that owns and runs the Economic and Political Weekly. So they said, you have committed an act of grave impropriety by responding to the legal notice given to the publisher. You know, this legal notice comes in the name of the publisher, the editor, the writer, etc., etc. You did not take our prior permission and consent before responding to the legal notice. So you have committed an act of grave impropriety. I said, I'm sorry. I should have taken your prior permission, but I knew I would have to do the job myself. I don't think I've committed an act of grave impropriety. You can call it a technical error. They also said, you have destroyed the ethos of the Economic and Political Weekly, which is not just a magazine. It is like an institution which is almost as old as the country. Then they said they are appointing a co-editor. Then they said you cannot write any more articles under your own name. Your predecessors also never wrote articles under their own name. Then I was told, pull this article down from the website and do not leave the room until the article has been pulled down. The article was pulled down. They saw error 404. I asked for a piece of paper. I wrote out my resignation.
But this was very sad.
This
very
is July,
sad and sad.
July 2017. I told everybody, I told the world, my interviews are again doing the rounds. I was surprised so many people came out in my support. Eminent scholars, writers, you know, Professor Amartya Sen, Nobel laureate, Professor Angus Deaton, Professor Noam Chomsky.
All of them wrote.
I was completely taken aback. Yeah. I'll add something more to that. You see, after that, Paresh, what happened was a legal case was instituted. As you know, defamation has a criminal case and there's a civil case. Then this case went on in the court in Gujarat, in a place called Bhuj. The magistrate said, you don't have to pull down the article. This is to the wire. Saying you can keep the article, just remove one word and one line. So the wire removed it. So you can read that article and the order of the magistrate is also given over there. Then I appeared before the magistrate dealing with the criminal case in Mundra. His name is the Honorable Pradeep Soni. He's the first class judicial magistrate. And then what happened is, to my surprise, in May 2019, just before the Lok Sabha election results were to be announced, the cases were withdrawn against everybody. The Wire, the entity that runs the Wire, my 3 co-authors, everybody except me. Now, I won't take very long. In January 2021, a non-bailable warrant of arrest was issued against me. How did I know? The PTI, the Press Trust of India, the correspondent said, here it is.
It didn't reach you. It didn't reach you.
It reached my lawyer later. So I read it.
We are laughing, but then these are actually not.
Paresh, my family was traumatized. My wife, our children, my sister, they were completely shaken.
Just for raising issues which are all over now.
Now, Paresh, hear me out. My lawyer argued it took him 10 days to get a stay order from the High Court of Gujarat in Ahmedabad. What did he say? He said, what was the allegation? That I was not appearing in court? So he said, this was Corona time. This was between the first wave and the second wave. The courts were closed. I never said I will not appear in court. Second point, he said that according to the Supreme Court, if you don't appear in court, then the magistrate can issue a bailable warrant. And if I still do not appear, then non-bailable warrant. So eventually that warrant of arrest became ineffective because I appeared in court. This was in February 2021. I again appeared in March 2021. And this case instituted by Adani Power, I have not heard anything about it.
That a question, my question, it comes to me that a person who actually did these things, who has raised this question, raised the irregularities in the functioning of a company, and then he was harassed like this, and now that the report is all over and nobody is speaking, the government is not speaking on the report, the Adani Group is not speaking on the report.
Adani Group has said, this is an attack on India. This is all false, misleading, misinformation. This is what the Adani Group is saying. The Adani Group says we are going to sue the Hindenburg Research in New York. But
what happened to that?
We don't know. You have to ask them.
What happened to the suing of the Hindenburg? Another thing.
I want to also tell you about the case on which there was a gag order. There is a gag order on me. I will tell you about that also. Should I mention this first?
Yeah. Please.
All right.
Please.
See, Abir Dasgupta, myself, we published a series of 3 articles. So, more than 2.5 years ago, Abir Dasgupta, myself, we published a series of 3 articles. This was about various judgments delivered by a judge who has now retired. He was a judge of the Supreme Court of India, Arun Kumar Mishra, Shri Arun Kumar Mishra. So one article, the last of the 3 articles, had a headline: Justice Arun Kumar Mishra's parting, and within inverted commas, gift of 8,000 crore to Adani. So in September of 2020, the court in a lower court in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, said this headline lowers the esteem of the judiciary in the eyes of the public, the people of India. So my lips were sealed. Even now, my lips are sealed. So I am only giving you facts. I am not making any comments. Your readers, your viewers, you can comment. I am providing you facts. What happened after that? Another case was instituted. There were 3 articles. First and second was referred to in the gag order case. Then in the second article, recently another legal notice came, and then came a warrant, a bailable warrant of arrest in a court, a village court, Gramin Nyayalaya, in a district of Rajasthan called Baran, B-A-R-A-N. It is where the Adani Group has a power project in a place called Kawai. So this legal notice and this arrest warrant came against 4 of us. We were the writers, Abir Dasgupta and me. Then the head of Newsclick, the portal that published it, Prabir Purakasta, he's 75 years old. And curiously, another shareholder, Mr. D. Raghunandan, who is 73 years old, who had nothing to do with the article. Anyway, we traveled by train from Delhi to Kota, which is kind of halfway between Delhi and Mumbai, about roughly 700 kilometers. From there, we had to travel another 120 kilometers to the district court, where before the Honorable Magistrate, we gave the bail bond and the sureties. We found people who stand for surety. So these, I've given you 5 cases. The 6th one seems to be in cold storage. I have a website, as I mentioned to you, Adani, the A Files, which is part of my own website, paranjoy.in. And there we have, there was a writer, he works with the Congress Party, the All India Congress Committee. He wrote an article which I published. So legal notice was served on me, but nothing has happened after that. So the question that you might ask and your viewers might ask, For the last 2.5 years, from September of 2020, I did not open my mouth. I never mentioned Adani at all. I put out no tweet. I put out no Facebook post. I wrote whatever I said was off the record. Why did I speak out? Why I spoke out? Because one, my name came out in the Hindenburg Report.
In the Hindenburg Report.
Yes. In the end of the Hindenburg Report, there were 88 questions. And the 84th question was addressed to Mr. Gautam Adani, saying, Mr. Gautam Adani, if you are a believer of freedom of expression, why did you try and arrest a critical journalist? So that was the question. There was reference to me. So then the response that came from the Adani group that, no, we have not done anything. The judge decided. That is factually correct. It was the judge who decided. What they did not mention was the case concerned Adani Power. That's all. So I thought it was time for me to give the facts before everybody, including you, to clarify whatever doubts we have. Because I'm the only person in India against whom these 6 defamation cases are going on. And the point is, people ask me, why are you targeting? I said, I'm not targeting anybody. I have written in the last 45 years of being a journalist, I've written about so many corporate houses. I've got a book on the Ambanis.
And I have seen one thing that also our viewers should know, that you are not writing with some bias. What you are writing, you are actually presenting the facts. You are presenting the facts. You are presenting the irregularities and nothing else.
So that is, you are welcome to your opinion. I believe I'm a reporter. I am giving facts. The reader can arrive at her opinion, his opinion, her analysis, his opinion. I am providing facts. How did I get the facts? Because people from the government, they came to me with all these papers. Because their conscience was hurt. You can call them whistleblowers. We don't have a proper whistleblowers law in our country, but they came to me. So these are documentary evidence. People ask me, you helped Hindenburg Research? I said, I had never heard of the name of Hindenburg Research. I got to know only on the 24th of January. And then I knew that Hindenburg was the former president of Germany. And after him, the chancellor became Hitler. And then a hot air balloon called a Zeppelin was named after Hindenburg. It was supposed to fly across the Atlantic from New Jersey to Germany. It caught on fire. The crew died. People died. About more than 30 people died. 35 people died. And then I learned that Hindenburg Research was a small firm with barely 7 or 8 people, headed by Nate, also called Nathan Anderson. And he's a young man compared to me. And he has put out this report. And the name Hindenburg Research has come to symbolize or epitomize a man-made disaster. So this is what has happened. I could never have imagined that this man's corporate empire, which was a spectacular growth of it, suddenly the fall would be so spectacular in the prices of his shares. I never thought that on the 31st of January, when he said my 20,000 crore follow-on public offer of shares is fully subscribed, that the next day, after the presentation of the budget, at 10:30 at night or 10:40 at night, he would say, I withdraw the offer. So all these have been taken, not just me, everybody has been taken by surprise.
But now that the things have actually come out, and now even the Supreme Court is also seized of the matter, so what do you think? What are you going for?
It is very difficult to say what will happen. Paresh, I'm not an astrologer. I'm not a soothsayer. I don't know.
No. The way things are in.
You're right. The Supreme Court is looking into the matter. Several cases, one case is pending before the Supreme Court of India. This is by the DRI, the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, and they have appealed the decision of a tribunal called CESTAT, that's Customs, Excise and Sales Tax Appellate Tribunal. and that is also before the Supreme Court. SEBI has to take a call. You know that article that I didn't tell you very much about what that article was about that 500 crore bonanza. To summarize it in few lines, it is that we wrote that the rules pertaining to special economic zones and the power projects that are located inside these special economic zones, they have been changed. And the last change, over the years they have been changed, and the last change was during the Narendra Modi government. And these have primarily benefited one company, Adani Power. I also wrote, we raised a question that if how is the government of India, Ministry of Finance, Department of Commerce, processing an application for refund of customs duties to the tune of 500 crore,
500 crore.
Without first checking whether the duties have been paid. You know, you pay more money to the income tax department, then you apply for a refund. And if the income tax department says you are paid more, they give the money back to you. But
And there is no such thing, no application, nothing.
No. The point is, how can the government process an application for refund of customs duties without first checking if the duty has been paid?
Paid or not?
Yes. So you can get a refund only after you pay the duty. So then they never got that money. But that was the article that I wrote. And today I feel vindicated. Paresh, I feel vindicated that all that some of us have been writing for the last 6 years, one report, and everybody is now woken up. MPs, Mahua Maitra of the Trinamool Congress, said, I wrote to SEBI 1.5 years ago. What is the SEBI doing?
That was raised in the parliament.
Yes, Rahul Gandhi gave a long speech, and the speaker, the honorable speaker of the Lok Sabha, has cut out 18 portions of his speech. Now, I find that this is a fairly, it's like the case of the BBC documentary. You know, it's all available on YouTube. It's all available in the public domain. What is the use of banning a documentary? What is the use of censoring somebody? I think personally that it's a foolish thing to do. Why? Now more people will watch. More people will watch the documentary.
Everybody has seen it.
More people will hear what Rahul Gandhi had to say. So I think these actions on the part of the government are not of much use. I mean, I think they are.
Everybody has seen it. Everybody has heard it, and whether it is recorded or not, it doesn't matter.
It is available. It is available in the public domain.
Yeah. Now, I think that, you see, we are almost coming to the end of this thing. You have explained everything, and whatever you have explained and whatever you have not explained, in between that also, many things are explained in a different way. So I'm sure our viewers will be immensely benefited by whatever you have actually said, whatever you have presented. And one thing only I feel very, really very sad and sorry about this thing is that here is a person who raised these pertinent issues. Here is a person who raised these irregularities, and he had to suffer like this for this thing. And now when the Hindenburg Report has come out, the parties concerned, they have absolutely nothing to say. The government has nothing to say. And the Supreme Court, the Honorable Chief Justice has said that, okay, so many people have lost money, and you say that it has got no impact. This is strange.
So Paresh, significantly, the Chief Justice of India, Shri Chandrachud, says we are not going to take the names that have been recommended by you in a sealed cover. We will decide who are the people who will be part of a committee to inquire into what has happened.
And they disagreed with the sealed envelope also. Sealed envelope response. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. We'll come back to you again whenever you can give time to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paresh, for giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you very much once again.
Okay, take care.